Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, because today we are diving into the electrifying, mind-blowing, and slightly mischievous life of none other than, the guy often credited with inventing the light bulb. Spoiler alert, he did not actually invent it, but more on that later. Thomas Alva Edison. Imagine living in a world where nighttime meant total darkness, unless you were lucky enough to own a flickering candle that would either melt away or set your curtains on fire. And then, along came Edison, the man who quite literally lit up the world. But let us start at the beginning. Before he became the Wizard of Menlo Park, young Tommy Edison was just a curious kid with a knack for getting into trouble. Born in 1847 in Milan, Ohio, Edison had a childhood filled with questions. So many questions. In fact, he asked so many questions that his teacher kicked him out of school after just 12 weeks. The teacher called him addled, a fancy word for mentally slow. But instead of being discouraged, his wonderful mother took over his education. She believed in him. And let us just say, mothers always know best. This is when Edison developed his love for books and science, reading everything he could get his hands on. And I mean everything, from physics to chemistry to engineering. If Google had existed back then, Edison would have broken the search bar. By the time Edison was a teenager, he was already a little entrepreneur, selling newspapers on trains to make some extra cash. But Edison, being Edison, could not just be a normal newspaper boy. No. He set up a whole mini science lab in the luggage car. Unfortunately, boom! One bad experiment later, and he accidentally set fire to the train car. The conductor was not impressed and threw Edison and his chemistry set off the train. And just like that, his railroad career went up in smoke. Now, here is where Edison's life takes an interesting turn. He started losing his hearing as a child, and by adulthood, he was nearly deaf. But did that stop him? Absolutely not. In fact, he considered his deafness a superpower. Why? Because he said it helped him focus. No distractions, no noisy small talk, just pure, uninterrupted thinking time. Now here is where the magic happens. Welcome to Menlo Park, Edison's famous invention factory. This was not just a lab, it was a full-blown idea factory. Edison's philosophy? Fail faster. He believed that every failed experiment was just one step closer to success. And let me tell you, he failed a lot. Legend has it, he made 10,000 failed attempts before perfecting the light bulb. Can you imagine failing 10,000 times and still not giving up? And finally, Eureka! After thousands of tries, in 1879, Edison and his team cracked the code. They found the right filament, carbonized bamboo, that could keep a bulb glowing for over 1,200 hours. The world would never be the same again. Imagine seeing electric streetlights for the first time. It was like the first time you discovered Wi-Fi. Game changer. But Edison did not stop at the light bulb. Oh no. He went on to invent the phonograph, the first device that could record and play back sound. Mary had a little lamb. Boom. The first ever recorded audio. Edison basically invented Spotify before it was cool. Of course, no great inventor's life is complete without a little drama. Enter Nikola Tesla, a genius who once worked for Edison but later became his rival. Their battle? The infamous War of Currents. Edison championed direct current, DC, while Tesla pushed for alternating current, AC, which is actually the electricity we use today. Edison, being a bit of a sore loser, went to extreme lengths to prove AC was dangerous, even publicly electrocuting an elephant. Yeah, not his finest moment. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny Thomas Edison changed the world. He had over 1,000 patents, built the first industrial research lab, and left behind a legacy of innovation. The world we live in today? He helped shape it. And if you have ever pulled an all-nighter under a bright lamp, listening to music on your phone, watching Netflix, Well, you owe a little thank you to Edison. If you enjoyed this dive into Edison's life, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Who should we cover next? Thanks for watching Legacy Lab TV, where we uncover the stories that shape the world. See you in the next video.